Well, here's what's interesting. I never went over to Finland originally to play. I went over to see how my back was. So I hurt my back the end of my career with the Winnipeg contract. Nobody's going to sign you with a bad back, right? They're not going to take that risk. And I hadn't played any games. And Don Baisley said, look, I can get you over to Tampere, Finland, a team called Ilves, club team, which were like the Montreal Canadiens, or which are like the Montreal Canadiens of Finland. They've won the championship so many times. They'll take you, and they're looking for an import or two for next year. If it doesn't pan out, you can always come back. And if you get over there, and because they'll take you for 2 months, they're willing to bring you for 2 months. You'll know how your back is. So if your back's good, then we know we can tell everybody you're playing, and we can look for a contract. So I go to Finland. I fly over there. I walk off the plane. I'd never been to Europe. I get off the plane. Again, the phrase was, when you get off the plane, there'll be a guy here. He'll know who you are, but you won't know who he is. In Finland. I thought I was going to Russia. I had no idea where I was going. And I get off the plane, and this guy is, Kimo was the old Coho rep that I knew from North America. And he picks me up, and he says, come on, we got to go to the Russian embassy. And I'm going, Russian embassy? And he drives into Helsinki, and we go to the Russian embassy. He says, give me your passport. Give him my passport, and he takes the passport to the front gate, and he gibbering at the Russians, and he hands the guy my passport. He hands the Russian consulate my passport, and gets in the car. And I remember thinking, what the frig are you doing? Now, how am I getting out of here? We were going to Russia to train. We were going to Kiev for about 4 weeks, 4 weeks. And they needed to give us a visa. And to do that, they need everybody's passport. I didn't know it at the time. Then they drive me to Finland. From Helsinki to Tampere, 2 hours north, 2.5 hours north, and stick me in a hotel. And the next day they say, one of your teammates will pick you up. And turns out to be, to this day, my best friend over there, Ante Heikkilä, picks me up and takes me to the rink. And they say, okay, we're going to go to the practice rink now. But you got to dress at the rink, and we're going to go to the practice rink. So I put all my gear on and carry my skates, get in one of Ante's car, and we drive to Hervanta. And we round the corner, and there's this little building. It looks like an MTS building, those little MTS buildings? And Ante says the rink's right there. And I look at him like, what, are you shitting me? Like, what are you talking about? Well, it was an old bomb shelter. And they built 2 rinks at the bottom of the bomb shelter. So it's like 15 or 18 stories straight down into the ground. And you get off the elevator, and there's 2 hockey rinks there in this bomb shelter. Absolutely fascinating. That was our practice rink. I get on the ice, and I'm on the ice 2 days. Again, this is the first skating I've had since my back injury. And they offered me a 2-year contract. And I went, this is crazy. Now I'm starting to have fun. I don't even commit to 1 year. I actually said, let's go to Russia first. Let's do that. And after the trip to Russia, getting to know my teammates, the fun I had with them there, just the whole experience, the people in Tampere, Finland, they said, here's a 2-year deal. And I said, you know what, I'll sign for 1. I just don't know what to expect. And I signed for 1 and had the time of my life, the year of years. Had a great time. Scored a goal a game, set a record on the team that still stands. Just had a brilliant season with them. Everything I touched, everything that worked, all the guys, everything about it was great fun. And really, really glad I stayed. The season ended, and Don phoned me and said, there's some teams in the NHL are interested. Would you want to come back, give it a go? And I said, absolutely not. I have no interest in this. I'm having a great time over here. Relaxed. You're playing. The fun was back in the game. Everything about it was what I remembered playing. And I agreed to a deal before I left to play another season there. So I came home for the summer. And then I went back in the end of July for training. Went back to Russia again, went to St. Petersburg. And then in October of that year, my dad died. I had a massive heart attack and died. And my world went upside down. And I never recovered from that during the season. I had nobody to talk to. I had no outlet, and it was just me living in Finland. I'd come home for the service. I did all that, but I never recovered from that. I couldn't get over the sudden. He was 56. But I didn't have the tools to deal with it. I didn't have the mental capacity to deal with it. And I ended up becoming insular. I just went dark. And I just didn't want to play anymore. I just thought, this is enough. There's got to be more to life than this. And the reality was, even if I was here, nothing would have changed. But I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the people in my life. And I didn't have a good year at all. I really was in a dark place. And when that season ended, I just walked away and never played again.